we have the largest exhibit of President Kennedy in the country. November 22nd, 1963, it was 12:30 in the afternoon. President Kennedy and his motorcade were passing through the streets of Dallas. They were headed for the trademark. On his way, he had to go past a book depository. Out of the 6-story window was Lee Harvey Oswald, fired 3 shots into the president. The first shot that he fired went through his back and came out of his throat, was not fatal. The second shot totally missed. The third and fatal shot entered the rear of President Kennedy's head, came out his right temple, and this ended the life of our 35th president. This was the last time a president would ever ride in an open car. The original 1961 Lincoln, known as the code name X100, was built and designed by Hess and Eisenhart out of Cincinnati, Ohio. The President's Committee had to make a decision on a limo for the new president. They decided the best would be to rework the X100. This became known as the Quick Fix car, which includes a hardtop, bulletproof windows, armor plating, and painted black under President Johnson's wishes. The original Kennedy limo was midnight blue. That car now resides in Deerfield, Michigan at the Henry Ford Museum, but it hasn't got the feel as the assassination car. This tribute X100 limo on display here was purchased from Nick Cicelli. It was built from the original blueprints from Hess and Eisenhart. It was used in Dallas several times for research on the assassination. It was featured in 11 different documentaries about President Kennedy. This is the only limo that exists built to the exact specs. Nick wrote a book about this car, which is available through Amazon. The title is JFK, Jailed for Kennedy. He spent a year in jail over it. He was going through divorce and was ordered to sell the car and split up all the proceeds. He wanted the car so badly, he put it in hiding. The judge got very angered, gave him a year in jail. Decades later, Nick decided to sell the car, and through our conversation, the limo is now part of historic auto attractions. It's now included in our Kennedy display for all visitors to see. This is one of 2 1956 Cadillac Secret Service cars. This was known as the Queen Mary. The other one was the Queen Elizabeth, but the Secret Service had a code name for these cars. They called them the Halfback. The job of these Secret Service cars was anywhere President Kennedy went in the X100 presidential limo, they were to follow right behind it, and usually that was within 5 feet. The job of the Secret Service was at all times trying to protect the president, and usually they tried to walk right next to the limo. But that day in Dallas, President Kennedy's wishes were he did not want him near the car because he was trying to gain popularity with those people in Dallas because election was coming up. So President Kennedy's wishes were do not walk beside the car, ride on the Secret Service car. Clint Hill was standing on the running boards on the driver's door. When the 3 shots went off, he jumped as fast as he could, but by the time the 3rd shot went off, he did not reach the president in time. As Oswald left the book depository, he went out and tried to hop on a bus. The buses were full. He then ran to this taxi cab, hopped in the front seat, and took it to his rooming house. This cab ended up in the Paint Museum just south of Dallas for years. They then decided to close the museum, and we got the cab, and it's here now on display. This is a window from the Dallas Book Depository. It was the one next to the one that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated President Kennedy. I have a diorama here of Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, what happened is when they arrested Oswald, they took him to the police station. They were going to then transport him to the county jail. Now, Jack Ruby had a lot of ends and known a lot of the people that worked there at the police station. And as they were taking him to transport him, Ruby walked up to took his gun, put it to his abdomen, and shot him. One shot, and he was fatal. After Oswald got shot in the police department, they called an ambulance, and the ambulance here that I have on display showed up and hauled him to Parkland Hospital. They then rushed him to the emergency room where he passed away about 45 minutes later. As the decades go on, the conspiracy theories also go on. One of the theories was, did Ruby know Oswald? He did a polygraph test. The first one they asked, did he ever meet Lee Harvey Oswald? He said no. The polygraph test said yes. The second one says when they stated, did he assist in the assassination? He said no. The polygraph test said yes. I was down in Dallas. I went and looked at the museum. As I went there, I went to a place across the street called the Conspiracy Museum. And I talked to them about my museum. They said, come on downstairs. We might have something you like. I did. They showed me this fence because they were replacing the fence around 2000. And they asked me if I'd like a part of a fence and how could I say no. There are several theories that surround this fence. A lot of people have their own theory. What happened? There's even got a writing on here said President Johnson did it. Another theory is that they say one of the Secret Service men accidentally shot President Kennedy from this car. He jumped up, he grabbed the weapon, and as he was reeling back, he accidentally shot him. Other theories that came up is they say he got shot out of a storm drain along the street. Another one, a pickup was parked by the overpass with a tarp over the box, and he got shot out of it. Another one, they say there was more than one shooter in the book depository. This is the 60th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. We have over 600 artifacts here for the visitors to see. If you like history and you like Kennedy, it's here at Historic Auto Attractions in Roscoe, Illinois.